Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called The Children Act. Oscar winner Emma Thompson gives one of her best performances as a British High Court judge who, in the midst of a crisis with her husband, must rule on a case concerning a teenage boy whose religious convictions prevent him from accepting the blood transfusion that would save his life. Directed by Richard Eyre and based on the novel by Ian McEwan, The Children Act is a deeply affecting portrait of strength, devotion, and love. This is a 2018 film. It is rated R. It runs 106 minutes and it stars Emma Thompson and Stanley Tucci, who I've always admired, but I didn't really buy his performance in this. And the young man it talks about in the hospital is Fionn Whitehead. I have no idea who he is. So, The Children Act. Did not know what to think about this movie. It came up on my list to watch, and I watched it. And it raises a lot of eyebrows. I'll tell you that. Wish I had more eyebrows to raise. I'm not really sure what to think about this movie, but I was so just fresh to this movie. I had no idea what it was about. I went in blind. That's good. So I was able to see what it went along as I watched it, and I could get an opinion about things that happened. And the very first scene kind of surprised me. Like I wanted to know what this movie was going to be about. It said it was about some conjoined twins or something in the first scene. So I really thought that's what it was going to be about, was like different cases and what this law called the Children Act was going to, say about each of these different cases. But I was wrong, so that's fine. It ended up being about this one case. Really. I mean, like she answered a couple others. It kind of showed her in the cycle of being a judge for a minute, but really it ends up being about this young man called Adam. He's 17 years old. He has leukemia. According to his religion, he can't have a blood transfusion. So what does the law say? What does, the parents say? What does Adam say? And the movie kind of goes from there and kind of has its focus set on this storyline. So it kind of ends up being a one-trick pony, and I was kind of expecting more. I didn't think it would be a story of one thing. I thought maybe it might be a series of events or something, different cases, and she uses the Children Act in her delegation of the case of Adam, but I was kind of wanting to know more about it, and it just kind of comes up that that's how she rules in this case. So it's not really what the movie's about, and it's not really about all these different emotions and stuff. So I didn't really agree with the movie being named that, because the movie is so much more than that. It's just like one little element. So um like I said, I really appreciate Stanley Tucci and all the different stuff that he's done. He's been such a wonderful performer, and he's been able to play the gayest of gay guys and the most wonderful established performer. And I really do know that he's a good actor, but for some reason in this movie, his character. I'll just say his character, because I don't think he's bad, but his character is bad. And we have to watch this whole scene about him announcing that he's going to have an affair. And all I was thinking the whole time was, what the heck is going on here? I've never heard this in my life. It's a very new perspective on a way to handle a couple fighting with each other. Is one saying, "Okay, well, I'm going to go, hit this woman that I've been wanting to hit for a while." It's a really fresh take on it, but it was messed up, and I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it, and I think I think Stanley could have done something else with that, and I thought it was a little weird, and I just can't understand why they would have given that awful of lines to give to Stanley. He's such a good guy, so I was not cheering for him this movie because his writing for his character is awful throughout the movie. It's really bad. Um, the weird thing about this movie is what happens when uh, the judge is almost done deciding what ruling she's going to give on her case. She decides she wants to go see this cancer patient to see if they're in their right mind about what could happen if she rules this way and what happens if she rules that way. And it's unheard of, and it's crazy to think about that she would do this. This visit between her and Adam just messes up the whole movie. It raises way too many questions. None of them are ever answered. Adam asks some of them, and Adam asks some of these unanswerable questions later in the movie, but we, the audience, are asking these questions the whole time after this visit in this hospital. It's like the main thing that comes up is why would she visit him in the hospital? And that comes up later in the movie. And she still doesn't answer. So I'm not really sure what the point of everything was, and it gets very murky. And honestly, I think, the movie didn't know what it wanted to do. Uh, it has a lot of suggested things, and I think they're very distasteful. I think they're very irrelevant. And I think that they're going a way that this movie did not want to go. And if it wanted to go there, I think it just would have. But I just don't understand the point of suggesting shocking things and oh my gosh kind of things if you're not going to have it happen. I mean, the best movies in the world are ones that have stuff happen with cannibals and all this other stuff that we have no idea could actually be in a movie. And this movie is suggesting things, and oh my gosh, no way. The second Stanley's character mentions divorce, I'm screaming at the TV, well, just get a divorce. And the second that they suggest that this judge might have had feelings or whatever for Adam, I'm like, who cares? And then what they end up having have happen to Adam really makes everything irrelevant. And then at the end, the judge and Stanley are still together. And I'm like, okay, this whole movie is just too much. It's raising too many questions. It doesn't answer any of them. It goes a way that it thinks it wants to go. It suggests a way that it might go, but it doesn't actually do anything, and then it just ends. And it's horrible. And I don't understand why movies do this to themselves. Is that like you have a plot, you have a story, and you have an ending. They should all flow together. But if you bring up too much stuff along the way, then you're not able to answer it by the end of the movie. Just a 2-hour movie or less. Usually, most movies nowadays, you got to keep it a little bit more simple or make it really, really shocking and have that be your own content and build around that. So I'm going to give the Children Act a C minus. It's very mediocre of a movie. I was with it the whole time. I was trying to figure things out, but nobody should have to work that hard to figure out what a movie is really trying to achieve. So for that reason, I'm giving it a little bit lower grade. But it is definitely in the C range, but I'm going to give it a C minus because it just frustrated me. I shouldn't have to feel that way after watching a movie. A C minus for the Children Act. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies. Thanks.